Just waking up. Wednesday, March 11th. 6:03 right now. I woke up a little bit ago. But DreamVlog. Wednesday, March 11th. Muercoles. But anyways, so I dreamt I went to a party. It ended up being like a high school party. And I was chilling with some people. I went there with them and it was like a high school party. It was trippy. And then I just knew a couple younger cats, a couple younger females that were with me. They drove me there, and I was in there just feeling kind of awkward. And it could have been college party, but I think it was more like high school. And then I was looking around, chilling, and then there was some older fools, some older white dudes. This kind of reminds me of the apartments across the street from Stadium Drive from Western Oregon. It kind of reminds me of that. Older white dudes kicking it with younger females. And I was there. I was walking. It's on Stadium Drive, Monmouth, Oregon. But because I always see younger females over there, so like walking by type shit. Um. Anyways, I was in this party and I seen some older white dudes chilling, and they were kind of like hating on me, like I was there, like you know what I mean, like they didn't want me there. And then I was chilling. Then I seen some girls that were like my old neighbors, like way back, like when I was a kid, like when I was in middle school, and they were all growing up. And I wanted to talk to them, and then the adults, it was kind of having adults there too. Later on, the parents got there, and and or some adults. They were like gray hair, and then they were like kicking everybody out, and they were still letting the party happen for a little bit, and then they kicked everyone out. And then I was leaving. I was going to the street, and I was looking for my ride or something. And then the dream ended up changing. Or I ended up seeing across the street a little market. It was like a barn, like a little market, like a homemade market, like a mom and pop shop. You know what I mean? And then I ended up the dream changed. I ended up at church, and I'm sitting behind Genee. She had a baby in the pew with her. She didn't have no kids to my knowledge, right? Janae Robinson, Janae Dunshire, Travis's Travis's I don't know wife. But she had a baby in the pew in front of me, right in front of me. And she kind of didn't even pay attention to me, which that's not her nature. She's just a beautiful, nice girl, right? Like, so she was way high, like you know what I mean. She was way high, but she was acting like real stuck up, which I don't know if that what that was about. But this could be a prediction of her having a baby. Um, um, and all that. And then someone was next to me on my right. I forgot who it was though, but I felt like there was someone just watching over me, like one of my spirits. Um, and we're at church. This church I'd never seen before. In the front to the left was like a little stage with music, I think. And then in the middle there was a stage, right? And then on the right there was, I think, some drums or something like that. It might be wrong on the drum part, but it's kind of fuzzy. And then we're passing money. I had money in my pocket, right? This is a continuous, and I did something good or something, and I was pulling money. I was pulling $1 out of my pocket, and then for some reason I asked Janae for a pen, and she told me to keep a pen, meaning that she's gonna come back into my life in one way, shape, form, or another. Whether it's crossing paths, I see her at the nurse's office where I've seen her before. Um, you know what I mean, and it's gonna be part of my story. Eventually, and that could bitch mean me predicting her having a child, right? Um, and I was gonna write my name on a dollar bill. The dollar bill ended up like ripping and messing up or something, and 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 for some reason, I pull money out my pocket, and it was like $5 bills, three fives. That's the five, and the five. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, or like the two commandments, five on each tablet. I think it was one tablet. I can't remember, but five commandments, five commandments, and then another five commandments maybe. It could be a couple different things. I got a headache right now, a fake ass headache, a Mark of the Beast headache. Imagine that. But uh uh. Anyways, I ended up finding another dollar in my pocket, but it was misprinted, and on the top left, it was really misprinted to the top right. I mean, from the left side, you know the border that's just blank, it goes up like that. It was all misprinted and bigger, so it was like, and it was like Archangel Michael on the bill or something, and I was gonna give it to the people, but then I looked at it, it was all misprinted, and I was like, "Isn't this? Can you get money for these misprints?" And and they were like, "Yeah." So I was like, "I'm gonna keep this." So then I ended up walking, not giving no money, and keeping the three fives because it was dollar bills. It was only like $3 bills that turned into three fives, meaning that I'm gonna make money off money. And this correlated with another dream that I had in jail, I think, or before jail. I was in this house. I went to a party, and I went downstairs, and there was three white boys smoking, and I was gonna pull a money out, but it ended up turning into $2 bills, and that's what I thought this one was. And then and the white boys were smoking Holly, smoking meth, and all scanted out and shit, and they were smoked out, and I was gonna buy some, and then they were just hating, you know what I mean? Some little white boys. They were older, they were adults though, but anyways, that was another dream, another dream that correlated with this one. God's giving the double confirmation dreams, like in the Old Testament. So you'll have one, and then you'll have two to confirm it. You know what I mean? It's a really Old Testament tactic. So that means we're in the Old Testament times. So anything in the Old Testament is viable to this nature, especially since we're in a Revelations type nature mixed with a Yod, a new beginning type nature, and Adam and Eve, a Cain and Abel nature, which just activated with me and my sister, Cain and Abel. But I saved her from that and inherited that energy, right? And so the new sin, the new commandments have to come. And I'm under a new covenant. So we're in the Old Testament. Anything Old Testament can happen. Blowing up Sodom and Gomorrah, fucking circumcision type shit, piercings, biblical piercings, type of things of that nature. Um, and we're past Ash Wednesday. We're going into, I think it's Passover, right? And right now you should be doing sacrifice or offering something or removing something from your life. But anyways, in my dream, I had walked from the pew. I had seen Atian Hamarillo, my old homie, and I had walked over to, or I think he sat next to me or came next to me, or I walked to him. I can't remember. And I was like, "Hey, you got some smoke?" He's all, "Yeah, I got it in my pocket right now." I was like, "Let's go." So me and him left church, and we're about to smoke, and we're walking out the door to the left, diagonally, like backwards slash, like reversing any of those conspiracies or going into the past. You know what I mean? It's a symbolism in a dream. And we're walking. I ended up just waking up and stuff. And then the mark of the beast gave me a headache right here. And the mark, a spiritual mark, could be the mark of the beast right here. And they used to make my hands numb. The mark of the beast. I have this mark right here. You see that little dot right there? That's a tattoo mark in the middle of the hand. Not the middle, but like the bottom middle. 10 minutes.